Good morning, everybody. Only a few hours until deadline, so we are doing team selection live this morning. We're both in hotels. You just have to pretend with me because I've got a black background, so you can't tell anyway. But as always, I'm joined by Gianni. How you doing?
Hi, mate. Yeah, all good. I didn't know you were in a hotel as well. Brilliant. Love that. We're two travellers for the night.
Yeah, so we're going to look at, it was a big week, game week 35, double game week. Last night, I'm going to get your thoughts in a minute. I got a feeling, like me, you're going to be a little bit annoyed about last night, in some ways anyway. And then we're going to look ahead to game week 36. Obviously,
You need to set. Oh, sorry about that.
no worries. This is the problem with doing things live. It's the problem with doing things live. And then, we're going to look ahead to game week 36, transfers, captaincy, all that good stuff. So let's just jump into it. So you actually scored exactly the same as me, 127 points. Is exactly what I got. So this was a free hit team. How'd you feel about it?
Yeah, there was a couple of 50-50 calls that I got wrong, but, I can't be too disheartened with the total. 127 points is great. Very pleased I went with the double Liverpool defence. Phillips was a nice addition. I did go without Jota, who I own. I did go without Luca Dean, who I own. So there was a couple of players that I owned ordinarily that would have got me some really nice points. Dean versus Castagna was a tight one. We spoke about that last week, didn't we? And I kind of said
I
was going up the bookies' odds. And, who did we know Castagna was going to play in a back three? Did we know Evans would get injured? No. So, it swings and roundabouts. Disappointed with Henderson. 4 points from my goalkeeper when so many had Mendy or Foster on my bench, that got penalty saves. Pretty lucky, to be fair. The Mendy penalty save anyway.
Oh my god! Don't even get me started on that. I'm so annoyed about that. Like, it's just the way it happened, because I thought if he's going to get a clean sheet, it's going to be in the Arsenal game. At least he got benched. I was quite happy about that. I won't lie. Quick question: have you used your free hit? Oh, sorry, a free hit. Obviously not this season. In a double game week before, or just in blanks?
I think I've always used it in double. No, I couldn't have. Do you know? I think it depends on the season. I've definitely used it in blanks and doubles.
So what I find is, like, I after last night, I can't be disappointed with 127 points. Right, it's still pretty high, and it does beat the average. But just there's just a few more things that not can go wrong, but that everyone else can get right, because obviously there's so many double game week options to choose from, whereas in a blank, you're kind of at least narrowed down to certain players. Like, I was the same. I free hit out a bunch of players that did well, Jota being one of them. But again, look, I think there's a little bit of hindsight. Had we both gone Luca Dean over Castagna, right, that's another 12 points straight away, and then there's probably zero complaints. So I guess it was still decent. Big rank increase this week, and goalkeepers was so annoying. But at least you didn't go for Harry Maguire. Could have been even worse, right?
True. That would have been hard. And I know you and Maguire, didn't you? I did go Rashford over Greenwood, which I knew was going a little bit rogue, because I knew most would have Greenwood. I just needed that differential. And when he nearly got that second goal last night, it was exactly the same as the first goal he got, which was kind of like the same angle. When he put it just wide, I was up celebrating. I thought that was going in. And then it would have made the Rashford call look brilliant. Because I said last week, I think he'll get 60 more minutes than Greenwood. I haven't worked it out, but I'm guessing he did edge the minutes, probably not as much as 60. But all that matters is Greenwood got more points. So slightly disappointed there too. But no, it was a good week.
Yeah, I think, like you said, that second Rashford chance, I think it was Pogba actually that passed in the ball. It was very similar, wasn't it, in the way he took the shot? Yeah. But just unfortunately didn't get a deflection off of Robertson this time, so it didn't go in. But I'm very glad that didn't get given as an own goal, because I had Robertson. Okay, let's look ahead to next week. So game week 36, obviously there's a blank, lots of players missing. So you've got 3 players missing, all Leicester players, so Pereira, Iheanacho and Vardy. You're currently playing 4-5-1, which is, I always think is cool to look at, because no one ever plays that. But you've got Veltman injured. Mitchell did play twice, which you said. He probably played twice. And did get 1 clean sheet as well. So the team's looking pretty good, I would say, for this week. Even Gundogan's probably got a great chance of starting, I think, against Newcastle. I think that'd be pretty strong. So let's just start off with the transfer plans. I guess Veltman and maybe 1 or 2 of the Leicester players are on your mind.
Yeah, those 3 Leicester guys, I'm definitely happy going without Pereira. I want to get rid of him. I want to get rid of Vardy. Iheanacho might be one I hold for the final day against Spurs and he gets a run out, but even Iheanacho, I think I'd happily be selling. So the 3 Leicester guys I'm looking at, they're the ones I want to get rid of. Veltman, because he's so cheap, I'm happy with him on my bench. Knowing I'm going to be finishing the season with these guys, I may as well sell my more expensive defender, for example, Pereira. So the ones I want to get rid of in the next couple of weeks are the Leicester assets. Annoyingly, some of the players I want to bring in are midfielders, but I don't want to sell any of these 5. So my midfield's probably going to be fixed now, possibly for the remainder of the season. And my transfers will be forwards, 2 forwards, 1 defender.
Okay.
Transfers.
We'll come on to the transfers in just a second. So you're saying about midfielders, there's players you want that are midfielders, but you don't want to transfer any out. I mean, I'm kind of in a similar boat, especially with Lingard, because he's got great fixtures, but there's something that just tells me I want to get rid of him. But what midfielders do you want that you don't think you're going to be able to get to?
So this week, because I'm downgrading Vardy, it's going to give me money in the bank, and I'm thinking, do I take a 4-point hit and upgrade a Jota, for example, to a Bale or a Mahrez, or even possibly a Foden? So they're the 3 I like. I like Bale, Mahrez, Foden. Now, do I necessarily need them? Well, I've already got Man City and Spurs attacking cover. Kane's going to be my captain. Probably don't need them, but it'd be a nice luxury. But at the same time, you go, I'd be transferring out Jota for a hit who plays West Brom. My only thing with Jota is I can't work out, Andy, for love nor money, if he did enough last night to warrant a start. And the whole Mane thing, I can't see Mane missing 2 games on the trot. I know his reaction wasn't great post-match. I don't think Klopp massively minds about stuff like that. I can't see him being disciplined for it. So let's assume Mane comes in. Salah isn't going anywhere. Firmino did really well last night with the 2 goals. Could Jota miss out? Could Jota get 30 minutes at the end? But then even if he does, 30 minutes against West Brom, as involved as he is, maybe there's still points there. So I'm reluctant to sell him. And then I guess Lingard's the only other option. But again, I don't really want to get rid. What are your thoughts on Jota, Andy?
Yeah, it's so tough because I've got him as well. Part of me thinks it's West Brom, so they might just roll out 4-2-3-1 and just play them all. But at the same time, they played really well last night with a front 3. And I agree, Mane definitely starts. I've got no doubts in my mind about that. Like if I was on a free hit now, he'd definitely be kind of top of my thinking, I think. And I agree. I just don't see why. There's all to play for still. Why would you start resting Jota when there's Salah when there's only 3 games left? It was funny because at the start, I can't remember exactly when it was. I think it was in the first half. Firmino was through on goal. And he opted to pass. Now, the pass didn't come off, and it probably would have been an open goal. But I was thinking at that point, if that was Jota shoots, and that is the difference. And he probably scores as well. But then Firmino obviously went on and scored 2 goals himself. So he did kind of redeem himself later on and played pretty well. The honest answer is I don't know. My hope is that they roll all 4 out. Because Firmino only got a rest in game week 35. In the first game against Southampton. He didn't play that one either. It's interesting because Jota wasn't in the lineup for the first Man United game, so I was quite surprised to see him, to be honest. And for Mane to be benched, I was really surprised.
We didn't see that one coming, did we? I think, and so many didn't. I feel like that front 4 against weaker opposition, we've said for a while now, Klopp will play that 4. And I was pretty vocal about that 6 weeks ago when I brought Jota in. I was really confident he'll go with the 4, must-win football. He's not been doing it, Andy. Like we saw it about, 4 or 5 months ago for a few games. I remember a Man City game, I think he played all 4 of them around December. But since then, we haven't seen it. And because they're playing well and they're winning, I think the opposition's irrelevant. He plays his 4-3-3, and I do think one of them misses out. And I do think Jota is favourite to be benched. But it's going to be really interesting. But yeah, I mean, we'd love him to play all 4, but I don't think he's going to change a winning style.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Jota has started 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the last 7 league games, but obviously some of that would have been around Champions. Sorry, no, that's actually wrong. It's I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 6 of the last 7, but obviously some of that would have been around Champions League. So potentially that could have played into it a little bit as well. I don't know. I think my only thing with him is I'm thinking even if he doesn't start one of these next 3, he definitely gets 2 starts, I would assume. And therefore, that's probably no different to what Mahrez is going to get. I mean, I don't think Mahrez is going to get 3 starts. I'd be very surprised. I'd be very surprised if any City player, apart from Ederson, gets 3 starts, to be honest. I think that game week 37 being in midweek before the last home game, which is then a week before Champions League, it just makes sense to rotate. I mean, I realise I'm sitting here being stupid as always, trying to guess what Pep's going to do. Yeah, it's a tough one. I think it's one of those that if you do it and Jota does get benched and it works out, you look like a genius. But if he starts, you're like, oh Christ, it's West Brom and he's just started.
Yeah.
So it's really tough. But like your midfield's looking good, so the transfers are difficult to do. If you don't go midfielder, you're looking at a forward and defender.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing Vardy and Pereira out.
Yeah.
So who are the main targets?
So yeah, Vardy's 100% coming out. DCL's coming in. I probably should have clicked that transfer just so I should have shown the graphic. Like, it's Friday. I'm going to be making my moves today. There was no injury news post-match from Ancelotti. DCL will be fine. Presumably is fine. So that's one move I'm definitely making. Do I want to take a 4-point hit for a defender? Oh, I don't know. I mean, for this week, it's not necessary because I do think, that my Mitchell, Dean and Trent will all start, and therefore I've got 3. But if I look next week and for game week 38, I probably need to buy a defender because I don't want to play Dean on the last day. Mitchell's got 2 tricky fixtures. Veltman's could still be injured, and Pereira's a massive rotation risk. So I'm probably going to have to make a defensive move in game week ahead of 37 or 38 anyway. Now, I need to work out if I'm going to make that move in addition to my other move, i.e., will I be making a defender move for a 4-point hit? If I'm going to do that next week, or if I'm going to do that in 38, I may as well do that move now. But I don't know if I'm going to be doing it in 37 or 38. It depends. I mean, I've got plans. I just don't know if I'll stick to them. And my plans are attacking transfers for the next 3 weeks.
Okay.
In a forward spot. It's DCL in, then it's Cavani in for 1 week against Fulham and captain him. I love that shout. And then 38, it will be, I don't know, Bamford in or whatever. But my 3 moves that I want to do are all attackers, which doesn't leave any free transfers for a defender.
Okay, yeah. Well, if you're definitely going to do the hit, then it makes sense just do it this week and maybe bench Mitchell. But and Grealish is back now, so maybe that's not so good either. And I know they got a clean sheet against Sheffield United, but I think outside of that, I don't really rate Crystal Palace defence too much. But yeah, I don't know. I think if you're the only reason I wouldn't do the hit this week is if you're unsure about it next week. I like the Cavani shout, by the way. I've thought about that as well.
Have you?
Yeah.
He's not playing 38, so 37 he's nailed, and I don't own Bruno. So, like you, it counters the I don't own Bruno in 37 in front of the home fans. Just signed the 1-year deal.
Yeah, I won't go into my team too much, but I don't know what I'm doing for the next couple of weeks. I've kind of got like spare transfers to play with. So he is someone I've thought about because he's a bit of a differential. Fulham at home, they're relegated. He's in front of the fans. Last game at Old Trafford of the season. They get to see Cavani. He's brilliant, obviously. So and I agree. I don't think he plays in 38 because there's only 3 days. He can't do it. We've seen that this week, right? That he can, he might come on for 10, 20 minutes against Wolves, but he's not going to... I don't see him started. So, I think that's a really good shout. Vardy to Calvert-Lewin. I like that. Pretty good. I mean, if you do Vardy to Calvert-Lewin, and are you then going to do Calvert-Lewin to Cavani? Or Iheanacho to Cavani and keep Calvert-Lewin?
Yeah, it'll be Iheanacho. Iheanacho. Yeah, so it allows me to upgrade a defender as high as 5.9 million. So I could sell Ricardo for someone of the same price and then still afford Cavani.
So
and then
get Dallas, basically.
Yeah, I can get Dallas, or I can get a Man City defender. I get Stones. I don't know what. I mean, I'd like Walker at 6.1, but if I do that, then that doesn't allow me in game week 38 to sell Cavani and bring in Timo Werner. Now it would be
Villa, right? Is it Villa?
Yeah, it'd be Villa on the final day. Probably a must win. It'll definitely start, and he away from home he's good. And there's just something in my head going, it's been a terrible, terrible season, partly because I put too much faith in Werner. So why not come game week 38 to give him a bit of love and go for a 1-week punt?
Yeah, I like it. Honestly, I've been sitting down, like I said, so I could make a move for my own team this week, and then I've got 37 and 38 where I've got 2 transfers. I could make a goalie transfer. I don't really want to. And I've been looking for interesting stuff to do. And I think outside of Man City, it's been difficult. But I did think of Gianni. I didn't think of Werner, though. I quite like that shout because, again, I don't really rate Villa defence all that highly. Yeah. I quite like that. I think it's very difficult to do. The template is kind of set at this point, right? Everyone's got their 3 Liverpool players mostly. I'm sure a few people have Man United for Fulham, etc. Kane and Son, whoever. So, I quite like those shouts. But you could just say the defender hits till next week still, I guess.
I could, and it's another week's worth of viewing, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's just Mitchell. Who would you bring in if you bring a defender in this week?
Yeah, so I mean, I like the idea of bringing in a Man City defender because I think that they're just now to keep a clean sheet. I'm also watching the game tonight on Scoutcast Match Day, and I like having interest in those games. And I was looking, Walker's going to start 2 of the 3. No one's got Walker. He's 6.1. The issue is if I go with Walker, I can't then go Cavani and then Werner. I'll be like 0.2 short. So I'm glad I've looked that far ahead because it's made me go, okay, I can go up to 5.9. Stones possibly. I mean, I've only thought about defenders this morning, so I've not given it much thought. I mean, Dallas would be the obvious one, but maybe I need to bet against Dallas because he's 30% owned and I need to go a little bit rogue. So, yeah, I want someone fun in that spot for sure. If I'm going to take a hit for someone, I want it to be fun. And I can see in the chat, Jamie's gone Zinchenko ? Again, I think he probably starts 2 or 3. The problem with Zinchenko is, I looked recently, he's been coming on as a sub. Walker either gets 90 or doesn't play, and I like that. I don't want someone coming on for 10 minutes and get me a 1-pointer.
Yeah, we are doing it live rather than recorded, so you can see the chat. Werner own goal to end the season. I mean, I think next season I'll be surprised if Werner's not a massive bandwagon at some point. Like he's just too good, and like you get into these positions at some point, he's gonna start finishing all these chances. Like I mean, the amount of tap-ins, like it's ridiculous how many he's missed. It's obviously, I'm sure it's a confidence thing, but it doesn't take much for a striker, I don't think, to get that back. So I hope it works out if you go that way. And then someone asked me about Grealish. I think he only played for like 10, 15 minutes last night, so I'm not sure if he will start, but he's going to want to be getting more minutes ahead of the Euros. So who knows? I think that will be difficult for Palace. Okay, let's finish on captaincy, because you said you're set on Kane captaincy. I got to be honest, when you sent me the screenshot this morning, I was a little bit surprised it wasn't on Salah. So talk us through it.
Yeah, so firstly, I like the idea of not going for the most popular pick this week. I do think, and that's clearly going to be Salah. I don't mind betting against the most popular pick, one, when I own them, and 2, when I genuinely think Kane's going to outperform him. And now, look, these guys are both chasing the golden boot. They're both level on 21. They both got individual egos here. They both want that. They're not going to win anything for their clubs now this season. That individual award means a huge amount to those footballers. So look, I think they're both brilliant shouts. The reason I slightly prefer Kane is he's had a week off. When does Kane ever get a week off? Now, Salah played last night. He played on Sunday. We could see quite a fresh Harry Kane. He might just be at 80% fitness for once. This is a guy that's usually playing at 60, 70%, I personally think. So Harry Kane fresh. He's blanked in the last 2. Again, when did we see Harry Kane blanking 3 in a row? He was unlucky to blank last time out, right? The toe offside. So again, I like Kane. I also don't own Son and Bale, and loads will own Son, so it covers me a little bit by not having a double up. And I just think Wolves are fairly leaky at the back. I like the home advantage. Yeah, I'm pretty sold on Harry Kane. I also think Salah, not because of rotate. Well, I think because of the minutes he's been getting recently, of course he's going to start. But I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't play 90. Again, Kane's going to play 90. So I'm playing the minutes. I'm playing the rest. And yeah, for me, it's Harry Kane all day long.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think it was on Twitter, there was a discussion about the golden boot and like how much does it really change what a player does. And I kind of agree, because at the end of the day, Kane and Salah are both great players. So chasing the golden boot is not necessarily, it doesn't turn them into better goal scorers. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just fresh in the memory and I'm remembering it incorrectly. But like, there was that few seasons back, maybe even 4 or 5, where he was playing Leicester, and I just remember him just shooting on sight at any opportunity, even more than he usually does. So I don't think it's difficult to sit here and argue when you're going for a big hitter that they are a bad pick. I mean, I do think Salah's the standout, but I think Kane is probably the second anyway. So I think a lot of people are going to go there. So if it comes off, could be decent. You just got to maybe not watch that Liverpool game, because that could be
he's going to be over 100% effective ownership, isn't he?
Yeah,
Salah,
definitely. I guess Kane probably will be as well. I guess the only thing with Kane is, I'm going to quickly check it now, is obviously he probably would have been sold quite a bit last week. And I'm not okay. Yeah, his top 10k still 73% owned, and that was with last week's non-double for him. So yeah, he's going to be over 100 as well. I think Salah will too. So it'll be interesting to see. All right, good stuff. So Vardy to Calvert-Lewin's on perhaps a defender for a hit. and then Cavani, then Werner. I like that. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, if there's injuries and stuff, that might change the thinking. But excuse me, that ain't something we can not something we can predict. So,
yeah, it would definitely be Pereira out. It depends if I get any other injury news today that forces my hand. That'll trigger the 4-point hit to Pereira out. Andy, I've had a Leicester defender quite a lot this season. I've had Pereira for about 10 weeks. I had Castagna for the double. I had Justin for a few games. Even Justin, 0 clean sheets from Leicester all season for me.
He was amazing as well for so many people. Justin's like one of my most annoying players this season because I got sucked into he's not going to keep starting because Pereira's going to be back. Pereira didn't come back for like 70 weeks or whatever it was. And he just kept on doing really well. And at the point I decided, right, I might just get him, he went and got injured. So, yeah, I'm the same with Leicester fans. I had Schmeichel this week. Super annoying.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is what it is. We'll leave it there because we got, 8 hours till the deadline. So it's still quite a lot of time, but people can go ahead and watch this. Good luck with all your transfers, captaincy shouts. Make sure you give it a like and hit subscribe if you're new around here as well. We'll have team news on this channel as well later on with me and Neil. Be around 2:30, 20 to 3-ish. And Gianni, you're on tonight, right, for match day for Man City Newcastle.
Yeah, I'm buzzing about that. We've not done Man City in a while, and the beauty of watching Man City on these watch-alongs is you just guaranteed some good play and hopefully some goals. And look, there's not many teams out there with Man City cover. We've not spoken about Man City much in this stream, but I do feel like it's going to be a pretty full-strength Man City team tonight because these guys need some minutes. They've all had a rest. Without KDB, Gundogan could be one to watch. So I'm really hopeful there, and that's partly why outside of Dallas, I'm like, oh, maybe I'll buy a Man City defender because it would be fun to watch, Walker bombing on or whatever. But yeah, let's see. It'll be a fun one. So yeah, I'm with Ted and I'm with Seb, 8 p.m. on this channel.
Good stuff. I had a quick look yesterday. Now, obviously, this will change a little bit because people will buy them for Gameweek 36. But Gundogan at 4.18% in the top 10k ownership is the highest owned Man City attacker. Everyone else is less than 0.5% owned. So if you are thinking about a differential, bearing in mind they probably won't get 3 starts, but if you want to risk it, especially for Newcastle and then hopefully Everton last day, I think Man City, even captain, if you really want to go all out, that's where it is. The ownership is ridiculously low. Obviously, betting against Salah and Kane is a big call. But there you go. There's your differential. We'll end it on that. Thank you for watching. Good luck with your transfers and stuff this week. Like I said, team news around 2:30, and then Gianni will be back at 8. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Gianni, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you soon.